From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening: a Fairbanks man has been indicted by a federal grand jury for allegedly soliciting the murder of federal officials.
56-year-old Guy Christopher Menino has been in custody at Fairbanks Correctional Center since 2013. The indictment alleges that between September 8th and November 6th of this year, Menino solicited another unidentified person to commit the murder of multiple unnamed federal officers. Menino is currently awaiting sentencing on felony charges, including unlawful possession and transfer of prohibited weapons such as machine guns and silencers. He pleaded guilty to those charges last year. State and federal authorities conducted the investigation that led to Menino's indictment. According to a release, Assistant U.S. Attorney Joseph Bottini said Menino could face up to 20 years in prison as well as a $250,000 fine for each count.
Since 1948, the City of Fairbanks has been striving to earn a Class 1 rating from the Insurance Services Office Corporation. Today, City Mayor John Eberhardt announced that Fairbanks is the first community in Alaska to earn the Public Protection Class 1 rating. The ISO rating is a review of the community's fire department, emergency dispatch, and water distribution systems. Fairbanks is only jurisdiction in Alaska and one of just 80 across the country that holds the Class 1 rating. Now, the rating ensures that residents and businesses operating inside Fairbanks city limits receive the best possible rates from their respected insurance companies. Fairbanks Fire Chief Warren Cummings says mutual aid from the University and Fort Wainwright fire departments were also contributing factors in earning the top rating.
The fire department's got bragging rights now. You know, it's kind of really neat to be the first one ever in Alaska to have a Class 1 ISO rating. It also shows that the water department has done their job by doing repairs or upgrading the system to meet the needs of the city of Fairbanks, and then dispatch, of course, upgrading their system, which has been beneficial too.
The Walker-Malott Transition Conference begins tonight at the Alaska Airlines Center in Anchorage. Governor-elect Walker opens the three-day conference with an overview of Alaska's current fiscal situation. Through Sunday afternoon, 250 delegates from across the state will participate in the conference, which is open to the public. 17 delegates have been chosen to chair committees, with 5 Interior residents serving as committee chairs. UAF Chancellor Brian Rogers will oversee the Fiscal Policy Committee, an issue the governor-elect sees as a top priority.
Certainly focus very aggressively on the fiscal issues. The cost of energy in Alaska is a very, very high priority, and so it will be people that have that shared vision and background.
Last June, Alaska North Slope crude oil was selling for $111 a barrel. Today, it's $76.88, a price drop of about 30%. The price, which is at a 4-year low, is being caused by increased production and weak demand. Some economists say it could devastate Alaska's economy since a large percentage of its revenue comes from oil taxes. Kara Moriarty of the Alaska Oil and Gas Association remains optimistic, saying 2015 will be a great year for development.
Met with us last week, and we are looking forward to establishing a business relationship with the new governor and his team. I'm going to be part of the transition team this weekend, and so he wants more oil in the pipe, so do we. He wants progress on the gas line, so do we. So those are 2 really good places to start.
When we come back, we will see more of the majestic northern lights as part 2 of the Aurora Chase continues.
Also, the Native community celebrated the renovation of a new building today. Those stories are next. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Fbx Evening News. A local Fairbanks store was broken into last night and thousands of dollars worth of merchandise reported stolen. Between 10 p.m. last night and 10 a.m. this morning, someone forced open the back door of JY Fashion Store and stole hats, sports jerseys, and other items before leaving the shop in ruins. Store owner Ricky Osborne says that he walked into his shop and saw exactly what viewers are seeing now. Clothing off the hangers, empty displays, and items strewn all over the floor. Osborne noticed that the person or persons who did this even attempted to spray paint a non-functioning security camera. The investigation into the burglary is ongoing. Officer David Elzey says that if anybody sees anything suspicious, please call the Fairbanks Police Department at 450-6500.
Yeah, if they just get some good information, if they see somebody that's, maybe selling a whole lot of football jerseys, or there's a lot of Native Pride hats as well that we're taking, some toy remote control helicopters, and just give us a call and let us know what they know, and that'd be great.
Basically, it's going to hurt us for Black Friday, because by the time we start ordering it, which will probably be Monday, it ain't going to be here by Black Friday. There's a $500 reward for the information leading to the arrest and conviction of the individual or individuals that did this.
A former University of Alaska Fairbanks employee has been charged with felony theft. 39-year-old Jennifer Lynn Mahler is accused of taking more than $4,000 worth of university airline miles and credits for personal use. Mahler reportedly administered the Air Miles account for the statewide Office of Human Resources. University of Alaska Fairbanks Deputy Police Chief Stephen Goetz says Mahler repaid the university and said she got her personal account information mixed up with UAF's.
Yesterday, we introduced you to a group of aurora chasers who spend the long winter nights of Alaska searching for the perfect photograph of the northern lights. Tonight in part 2 of his story, Jamie Schwartzwald takes a look at the bonds formed in subarctic temperatures.
It's been a mild winter thus far. The temperature was above zero last weekend when the aurora exploded, but that's not always the case. Roger Marty claims to have shot the lights in temperatures as cold as 55 degrees below zero.
Oh, it's a hoot, even when it's cold. It's when the aurora gets active like it was earlier tonight, you forget all about the cold.
The group I followed last weekend is close-knit. Casey Thompson says they learned to know each other simply by the sound of one another's voice.
We all see each other out here in the dark for sometimes weeks and months at a time, and then you see someone in the grocery store and they recognize your voice and go, "Hey, I took pictures with you last week and the week before and the week before. It's finally nice to meet you in the daylight."
A lot of us are really close friends. We definitely have our group that we hang out with, and there's a few of us that have actually gotten into a really good relationship.
For Thompson, aurora chasing is a family affair. He says 2 of his 3 children love to go chase. It was Brody who joined his dad up the Steese Highway a week ago tonight.
I was coming up here and I said, "Brody, I'm just really glad you came." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Because, you're going to grow up and remember these days, and I'm going to grow old and remember these days, and you're going to be able to tell your friends how beautiful the aurora was, and that you got to sit here and watch them with your dad, and that's important to me."
Chasing the aurora, I'm Jamie Schwartzwald.
The Fairbanks Native Association celebrated completion of the Hannah Solomon Elders Building today. Many Native elders and officials gathered to celebrate the renovation project's completion after more than 3 months of work. Thanks to the support of Doyon and other businesses, the building was completely remodeled to provide Alaska Native elders in Fairbanks a safe place to gather, tell stories, and eat traditional foods. Today, those who worked to see this project completed said they were grateful for the many folks who helped the center succeed. The building was named after Hannah Solomon, a woman who many say helped Fairbanks Native Association for years.
She was a very joyful person. She was a really good sewer. You see a lot of her beadwork around. And to me, her kids now are just like my own kids.
It's absolutely vital to their traditional values, their food that they're served, just the day-to-day social environment, and having a place to go, a safe place to go, to come and just share with each other, share stories. They have so many different events down here through F&A Community Services. It's amazing.
That place was really neat. I got to spend some time in there. They totally remodeled it. I mean,
nice.
They did a nice job in 3 months.
In 3 months. Come to my house.
Time. All right, well, Joe Cook is up next with sports, and it's UAF-themed sportscast as the Nanooks were quite successful today.
All right, find out all about it next.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here, bringing you some Friday sports. The GCI Alaska Invitational opener for the Alaska Nanook men's basketball team was an instant classic. Thursday night, the Nanooks hosted the Yellow Jackets of Black Hills State University. UAF, they were just spot on from three-point range in the first half, going 9 for 16. Kyle Tomlinson scored 9 of UAF's first 11 points. The Jackets were able to stay close, 37-32 UAF at the break. The second half, though, was just seesaw back and forth. The Yellow Jackets were powered by Brody Brisk, who had 17 points on 8 of 9 shooting, but newcomer Ashton Edwards went off for 20 points for the Nanics in this tight game. He was 6 of 12 from the field. This game went down to the wire. Wyatt Quagman hit a clutch bucket late for Black Hills. He had 12 points. The Jacks were up 66-65 with 24 seconds left. Edwards, though, he drives and dishes it to Thomason, who was cold after a hot start, but launched a 3 in the corner, and he drops it with 9 seconds left. Black Hills misses the layup, and UAF wins 68-66 in dramatic fashion.
Every shot feels good until it goes through the net. So it felt like a normal shot. Wasn't anything special. Just he created for me, passed it to me, shot it.
We're a totally new team. We said it from the get-go that it was going to take for us to come together to get wins. So my mentality was to, feed off my team. As long as I knew we were all stuck together, even when we got down by 3 in the last 2 minutes, everybody was still active and still supporting each other. So, I just wanted to do my part as a point guard.
The women's basketball team keeps its opening win streak alive on the road today. The Nanics came back and held on for an 80-78 win over the Cal State San Marcos Cougars. UAF trailed 51-42 at halftime, but held the Cougars to 27 second-half points. Stephanie Toomson led UAF with 20 points on 7 for 10 shooting and 6 boards. Benisa Bulaya added 16 points and 6 assists. The Nanics are now 4-0. Next up for UAF is Chico State this Saturday. This morning, the Nanick Rifle team took their first shots in a month against the number 2 team in the nation. The number 7 Nanick shot against the number 2 Kentucky Wildcats at 9 a.m. The E.F. Horton Rifle Range. UEF showed what it can do with a full roster of shooters. They beat the Wildcats 4-6-9-3 to 4-6-6-5. UAF won by 15 points in air rifle and by 13 in small bore. It was a dominant performance by the Nanics, who took the top 4 spots in air rifle and small bore. Loyally Stanfield shot a match-high 596 in air rifle to pace the Nooks. Ryan Anderson and Mox Erickson both had 585s to lead in small bore. Number 5 Nebraska will shoot against Kentucky tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and UAF will face Nebraska at 9 a.m. on Sunday. The Alaska Nanick ski teams will be in action this weekend, opening their 2014-2015 season. You know what that means? The Nordic Cup is on the line. The Nanicks won the last 2 Nordic Cups over their rivals this weekend. It'll be a test of toughness. There just isn't any snow, so trail conditions are less than ideal up at Birch Hill, but UAF is at home at the hill and will tough it out on the packed hard snow and small debris of seas on the trail. The men's team is spearheaded by seniors Logan Hahnemann and Michael Fehrenbach, who are all conference and NCAA national skiers. On the women's team, sophomore Nicole Bathe comes back as an All-American and defending NCAA Central Region champion. Head coach Scott Jerome brought in some new talent to push his talented returners like freshman Seiji Takagi and Martina Hema. The team is anxious to compete for 3 straight Nordic Cups and start their season with a bang despite the conditions.
As a girls team, we want to win. We want to beat UAA, no problem. And I think as a team overall, we want to win the Nordic Cup again. And I think it's definitely possible if we all really get into it and go after it on that day.
First race of the season is always a big deal to me because, like if I do good, then I'm gonna be stoked for the rest of the season. If I don't do well, then I need to figure out what I need to work on.
Coach Turman and I are very excited to see how the team will perform and just how they'll stack up. We're using this as a way to choose our travel team, and that's always difficult when you have a large group that's competitive.
Now here's a look at the local sports scene for this weekend. Saturday at noon is the first day of the Nordic Cup. Alaska versus Anchorage at Birch Hill. Sunday start will be at 11 a.m. Also on Sunday, the UF Rifle team will take on Nebraska at 9 o'clock in the EF Horton Rifle Range at the Patty Center. Saturday at 1:15, Lathrop will host service and high school hockey at the Big Dipper. And the nightcap on Saturday, the UAF men's basketball team takes on Minnesota State Moorhead in the GCI Alaska Invitational Finale. At 7:30 in the Big Dipper, it's the last home game of 2014 for the Ice Dogs. They face off against the Minnesota Magicians to wrap up their series. For more events, visit the sports page on Webster11.com. Along with your comments on our Facebook posts, Twitter mentions, and emails, we also use an interior top 5 plays poll on Webster11.com so you can decide the play of the week. And it's all been counted, and you selected Dylan Walker's victory in the semifinals of the Hutchinson Meltdown as this week's play of the week. Walker won the 220-pound semifinal at the last second of the 3rd round last Saturday, pinning Galena's Thomas Toktu. Walker would win 220-pound title at the Hutchinson Meltdown. To pick the next play of the week, watch for the I-5 interior top 5 plays on Mondays during the weekend recap. And that's it for Sports at 6. Come back tonight for the Sports Nightcap. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into Fbx Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again after a 24-hour layover thanks to the nasty flu that's going around. It's ugly, I'll tell you. Hopefully you won't get it. As far as our weather is concerned, we're looking at colder temperatures coming in through the weekend. In fact, they are here today. We're looking at temperatures again in the single digits tomorrow. Our photograph for tonight, Carmen Leonelli has sent us a fire on the horizon. You can see the sunset there and then radiating almost to the top there with beautiful pink clouds and a gorgeous photograph. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to us here at photos at ktvf11.com. Our Fab Photo Calendar, we're running out of them, folks. You need to get them. You can pick them up at places like Hot Fudge and also the Kindle Auto and just many places across the interior. Go to the webcenter11.com on the computer and check it out and see where you can find one close to you. And as far as our temperatures are going, right now 15 degrees, a high today 20, the low last night 5, record high 41 in 1947, record low at 38 degrees below zero in 2011. That, of course, is the fudge pot, not the hot fudge, but you can get hot fudge there too also, I think. Sunrise and sunset about 5 hours and 32 minutes of daylight, a loss of 6 minutes from yesterday. And here's what's going on in our satellite and radar. A little bit of circulation moving across the Prince William Sound area into the Kenai Peninsula. Again, the Alaska Range keeping most of the moisture out, and we're not looking at much of this moving up to the north. And if it does, it's going to be very, very light flurries, if anything at all. What else is going on across the rest of the state? Well, we have rain falling over southeast Alaska, 35 degrees at Juneau, Ketchikan at 47 degrees, some showers around the Anchorage Bowl, 35 degrees, Kodiak at 43. Up and down the west coast, looking at temperatures once again around 40 degrees at Nome and a chilly 16-degree reading at Barrow. Lower 48 weather, heading over the Pacific Northwest, a few scattered showers around the Seattle area, but they're getting ready for a bigger storm moving in, and some big powerful thunderstorms rumbling across parts of Texas, while the northern plains are finally drying after things have been very wet and very snowy there. More rain falling across the Gulf Coast states, and as far as the satellite and radar, you can see the storm system moving in from the southwest. It's going to gather strength and be bringing with it severe weather, possibly tornadoes and damaging winds. More activity moving across the Great Lakes with a satellite picture showing some showers there, and the new system moving in on the Pacific Northwest. And the overall outlook for the storm situation Friday through Friday night is calling for heavy rain moving across the Seattle area into parts of western California and then moving into the Rockies. Jet stream once again calling for a lot of activity because of this jet stream takes it to drive down to the south. It will help to bring some of that cold air once again clashing with the warmer humid air and bringing more thunderstorm activity. Some of it could be severe over the deep south. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. For the northern section, skies will be mostly cloudy, or mostly clear for Barrow and Fort Yukon, also at Nome. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at snow showers possible at Delta. Otherwise, Fairbanks and Healy will be partly cloudy. To the southeast, again, more rain for Juneau. Wind and rain also expected for Ketchikan. While over to the southwest, rain for Cold Bay and rain becomes showers in the Kodiak region with partly sunny skies for Bethel. And to the interior or southern sections, if you're heading on down the Anchorage area, mostly cloudy for Anchorage, mixed showers for Homer and Valdez. Well, time once again for our kids' weather. We weren't here last night because I wasn't here, but we're going to give you a chance to see the teacher that we talked with at Joy Elementary School presenting this weather fact.
Hello, I'm Mr. Hoy, and this is my third grade class here at Joy Elementary, and we have a weather fact to share with you. Class, did you know that the windiest place on Earth is Commonwealth Bay, Antarctica? For more than 100 days a year, the wind blows over 100 miles an hour.
And again, thanks to Mom McKinley for sponsoring our kids' weather each night. Next week, we'll have the kids from Ladd Elementary here with 4 more days of interesting weather facts. Okay, here's what's going on in our winter trails for Friday night. Don't feel too bad because Anchorage has no snow on the ground whatsoever. What little we do have will not allow for any real major outdoor activities going on. We're keeping our fingers crossed because maybe by Thanksgiving we'll have some accumulation of snow, but right now it doesn't look real strong for that to happen. Here's your forecast for tonight. Partly cloudy with some gusty winds in the hills, 6 degrees below zero. Tomorrow's forecast calling for only 3 degrees for the high. Considerably colder with scattered clouds and the extended forecast. As you can see here, temperatures in the single digits all the way across the board till we get to the 5th day. Will it be 10 degrees? Overnight lows pretty consistent, 10 degrees below zero each night. The only chance of any snow shower activity will be tomorrow night or Sunday morning, and again, not expecting a whole lot from that. So all in all, pretty dry to continue. Wow.
All right, Mike, thank you.
And not having snow, that's amazing.
Yeah. All right, we've run out of time. From all of us here at the News Center, we hope you join us back for News Center Final at 11. Good night.